Good and decent people of YouTube, welcome to Political Drain. My name is Bruce Lively, and no, you're not crazy. This is going to be part 2 of our 5-part series on Project 2025. If you have no idea what that is, you may want to watch part 1, right down there. But in short, Project 2025 is the agenda written by the right-wing think tank Heritage Foundation. It's divided into 4 pillars, and part 1 is talking about the policy they expect every Republican presidential candidate to promise to execute starting day 1 of their presidency, if they get elected. You gotta watch it. You just gotta watch it. I can't go over it again. I also said that pillar 2 was way more scary than pillar 1, even though it didn't have any policy in it. Well, today I'm gonna tell you why. And it has everything to do with the absolute hilarity of these videos you're about to see.
Born to ride Donald Trump. Awesome.
We need him back because if not, he's saving us. It's us against the government. And that's what he means. He's going to fight for us.
But if he's president, he's the government, right?
Not really, because he's not a politician.
Do you think that the 2020 election was stolen?
Absolutely. Yes, without a doubt. It's just kind of obvious. I mean, you can see how Trump has more followers. And they're... If that makes... Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to... My mind's going blank for a minute.
Even if the tables were turned around, I wouldn't agree.
You wouldn't like it if the Republicans were attacking Democrats.
I wouldn't like it at all.
You've been to Trump rallies before?
Oh, yeah.
So you were in Trump rallies in 2016?
Yes, sir.
And when he was chanting, "Lock her up, lock her up."
I was chanting along with him. But, now let me say this, she was never investigated. The FBI never investigated anything. Matter of fact, they dropped it and swept it under the rug.
So the FBI announced an investigation into Hillary Clinton 11 days before the 2016 election, and a lot of people feel it cost her the election, so they did do that.
They did do the investigation? I never heard of it.
I don't care if he was smoking crack with Hunter. I don't care. I'm going to vote for him. I don't care what happens. I'm voting for him.
Even if he was smoking crack with Hunter Biden?
Hell yes, I would.
Who says I am not under the special protection of God? What do you think about that? Do you think...
I feel like that's okay.
That's okay?
If Trump's an atheist, that's okay.
I do not see why man should not be as cruel as nature. Well, why do you think he comes up with that?
Well, man is the cruelest animal.
Great liars are also great magicians. Wow. Well, I think that, he's going to lie in any way, probably to, support the country, to keep the country going.
Good.
There'll be good lies,
So you support everything that he's kind of said in this pamphlet here and in these quotes, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm a Trump fan.
Because Trump said it.
Now, when he reveals the quotes are really Hitler's comments, their reactions are hysterical.
I'd say you're lying to me.
They are, though. They're quotes from Hitler.
You made this pamphlet and did that? Oh, my God. I'm definitely not down with racism.
So do you still support Trump?
Yeah, but I don't support Hitler.
Well, but you support these quotes, all right?
Well, if Donald Trump said him, I'd support him.
So, what's pillar 2? It's simply the most genius way to overcome one of the biggest hurdles that every dictator has on their way to consolidating power. That hurdle is ensuring that once you're in power, no one can topple you from the inside. Most wannabe dictators fail at this, right? Because they can't pass this hurdle. They fail to plan for this hurdle before they get there. So what is this genius, never seen before idea? Well, the Heritage Foundation started a fan club. Not a joke. Well, kind of a joke, but the same idea. It's a 4-page questionnaire designed to make a database of candidates to fill every administration position in the executive branch. Let's read it together, shall we?
Would you like to be considered for a position in a future presidential administration and participate in our trainings? Complete the questionnaire below and upload your resume for inclusion in the presidential personal database. To learn more about positions in the executive branch, please refer to the 2020 Plum Book.
Here's the questionnaire.
Select the options that best describe your political philosophy. Please select traditional, conservative fiscal, conservative libertarian, moderate social conservative, neoconservative, liberal,
I'm sure that's going in.
paleoconservative, or progressive.
And I'm sure they're picking all of them as well.
Name one person, past or present, who has most influenced the development of your political philosophy. Name a book that has most significantly shaped your political philosophy. And please explain its influence on your thinking. Name one living public policy figure whom you greatly admire and why.
Huh.
Name the one public policy issue you're most passionate about. Why are you passionate about this issue, and how would you like to see it addressed in the future? Do you agree with the following statements? The UN should have authority over the citizens or public policies of sovereign nations. Please select. The next one is, the U.S. has the right to select immigrants based on country of origin. The education industry should be opened to increase competition through vouchers or tax credits for private schools. Life has a right to legal protection from conception to natural death. Please select. The permanent institutions of family and religion are foundation to American freedom and the common good. Please select. The police in America are systemically racist. Agree or disagree. The gender wage gap is the result of prejudice and discrimination.
Curious question.
The president should be able to advance his or her agenda through the bureaucracy without hindrance from unelected federal officials.
The federal government should recognize only two unchanging sexes, male and female, as a matter of policy. A curious questionnaire for serious positions. In all of that, did you notice any important questions that we're missing? Work history, experience, education. What's your expertise? What industry do you work in? Who are your references? As a matter of fact, in the beginning, it said if you don't know what the executive branch does, no problem. Just go read this Plum pamphlet. And then go ahead and answer those questions below. People, this isn't sent to leadership in the state about their interns or who they know or the people who's worked for them. As ex-presidents usually do, give that information to the incoming president so they have a pool to pick from. This isn't sent to agencies or recruiters who vet graduates for internships. This is for anyone who has a phone number. Because the only requirement for filling this out is you have to give your phone number in order to download it and send it in. And unless you're watching this right now, the only places you would have heard about this is by watching Steve Bannon's radio show. No, really, that's it. Look here, that's the press release. All of the press releases. Nowhere else. If this doesn't scare the absolute brown shit out of you, allow me to remind you of the pool from which they're drawing. Here are the people who watch and listen to the outlets to which they sent this press release and nowhere else.
What will you do if former President Trump were to lose again?
Well, depending on how honest of an election it looked like it was, if it was honest and run correctly, I would accept it. If it wasn't, I would not accept it.
Okay, thanks so much.
Then maybe we'll have to make him king.
Would we want to go back to a monarchy?
You don't know what's going to happen.
Then maybe we'll have to make him king.
I am a Donald Trump cultist. I am a soldier for Donald Trump. I serve at the personal pleasure of Donald Trump, my supreme leader. I am the Praetorian Guard of Donald Trump. If Donald Trump ordered me to do an extrajudicial killing, I would perform it.
Where's the line between separation of church and state and putting the Ten Commandments in a government building?
I don't believe that there should be any separation between church and state. as the Constitution is written. It is for the people, by the people, and God is all part of it.
Jefferson's Articles of Religious Freedom were about that, about keeping religion in one place and keeping government in another to a degree.
Correct. But at the same time, and everybody can have their own religion, but we still have respect for our gods, whichever gods it is that you're attracted to or you're serving. So there's just too many things that are happening in this country right now that are not right. And if we go by the 10 Commandments, or if we go by just moral law, there's things that are happening that are they're not right, and they're not right with any of the gods. I don't watch the news either. So,
If he sent me somewhere and said, look, we need to torture Hillary Clinton, theoretically, I wouldn't obviously do that on my own volition. But if Donald Trump won the election and Donald Trump called me on a secret burner phone and he said, look, we have to capture and no, we can't go there. We actually can't go there. But if Donald Trump called me up and said, look, we need to capture my political enemies and torture them, you're okay with that, right? This is totally off the books. This is a black op. If he called me up and told me to do it, I would be like, sir, yes, Mr. I wouldn't even say yes, Mr. President. I would say it will be done. I would say it will be done, Supreme Leader. I would say something like that.
The R is because they know when he comes back, it's game over. Day one dictator. Hey, day one dictator. Because you know what? We gonna drill, baby, drill. Baby. Hey, how many people here? Now, normally I know you probably wouldn't in America, but considering what they've done to this man, how many people here support day one dictator?
Yeah. Okay.
But Bruce, you're just being hyperbolic and overdramatic. Those are obviously the lowest common denominators, and there is no way on God's green earth that anyone looking to actually run a government are going to choose that person to run anything. I know that these people would never be picked. Exhibit A.
Now I'm saying according to Q. Again, I don't have any proof of this, but we're talking about who is Q, so I'm going to tell you what he says. According to him, many in our government are actively worshiping Satan. These are interesting things to look at, and so I wanted to talk to you about them. I'm not presenting them that they're fact, but I am presenting them that I'm hoping they're facts. Anybody?
Criticism for posting hours of videos discovered by Politico in which she expressed openly racist, Islamophobic, and anti-Semitic views.
I know a ton of white people that are as lazy and sorry and probably worse than black people I know.
They swore in on the Koran. Oh, we have the Bible. We're going to talk about swearing in on the how to swear in on the Bible with them and let them know what our law says.
Have you seen, and I've asked Will this before, the picture of Ruth Bader Gingrich walking through the airport? This woman has been drawn over for how many years, and all of a sudden she's walking straight upright like it's a whole new person.
Almost like
Do
a body double, like Hillary Clinton.
Ruth?
Yeah, like the body double for Hillary Clinton. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
So.
I do not believe that was Ruth. No, I don't think so.
In September, Forbes reported Green had posted a Photoshop image of herself holding a gun next to progressive Democrats. Facebook subsequently removed the photo for violating its policies after the story broke.
Exhibit B.
I would like to talk to you about some other things that are going on here in Washington, D.C., specifically an initiative that you led. In November of 2022, you led the charge to reform D.C.'s crime laws. Is that correct?
I chaired the committee that proposal came to.
You led this charge, yes, sir. And these changes are now law here in D.C., correct?
Do you mean the revised criminal code?
Yes.
No, those are not the law.
Those are not the law.
The
revised criminal code was rejected by...
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I'm talking to Mr. Allen. Did you or did you not decriminalize public urination in Washington, D.C.? Did you lead the charge to do so?
No, the revised criminal code left that as a criminal charge.
Did you lead the charge to decriminalize public urination in Washington, D.C.?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever vote in favor of decriminalizing public urination in Washington, D.C.?
The revised criminal code that was passed by the council
support?
Kept it as a criminal offense.
And you support this?
I voted for it, yeah.
You voted to keep it as a criminal offense.
That's correct. The full council did.
We have records that show that you were in favor of removing that criminal offense and allowing public urination.
No,
Is that something that you intend to pursue in the future?
No, the legislation you're referring to that came from the Criminal Code Reform Commission changed public urination from a criminal to a civil offense. The council then changed that to maintain it as a criminal offense at the request of the mayor.
Thank you. I yield.
Even Boebert's own stupidity flies over her head.
Well, America, the liberal hacks are at it again with their phony Lauren Boebert is so dumb hashtag.
We see more deaths by hands, fists, feet, even hammers. And, if hammers are the cause of more deaths than firearms, then maybe we need to start having background checks on hammers.
This is a joke, right?
Fine. You say, Bruce, look. Those people are voted in. You can fool enough people to vote any kind of person in, but someone who's serious about running a government knows that they need intelligent people to at least be able to add numbers together, write something that makes sense to be signed. You're not just gonna get the buffoons that you get some people to vote for. I say to you, in the pursuit of power, even the best have done this.
Explain to me why that enhances your foreign policy credentials.
Well, it certainly does. As Putin rears his head and comes into the airspace of the United States of America, where do they go? It's Alaska.
Do you agree with the Bush doctrine?
In what respect, Charlie?
Bush, what do you interpret it to be?
His worldview. In what respect, Charlie? As for that VP talk all the time, I tell you, I still can't answer that question until somebody answers for me. What is it exactly that the VP does every day? A vice president has a really great job because not only are they there to support the president's agenda, they're like the team member, the teammate to that president, but also they're in charge of the United States Senate. So if they want to, they can really get in there with the senators and make a lot of good policy changes that will make life better for Brandon and his family.
There were real problems with basic civics, government structures, municipal, state, and federal government responsibilities. She didn't know the nations involved in the North American Free Trade Agreement, we're told. Those, of course, being the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. NAFTA, a major campaign issue, that would have been something of a deficit. We're told that she wasn't actually able to name all the countries in North America as part of that debate. And she didn't understand, McCain aides told me today, that Africa was a continent and not a country, and actually asked them, they say, if South Africa wasn't just part of the country as opposed to a country in the continent.
And she was fully vetted by the best. One of them has their own podcast now talking about how bad Donald Trump is. His name is Steve Schmidt. Yeah, he picked Sarah Palin for vice president. And in the pursuit of power, even smart people make dumb decisions, align themselves, as we found out, with idiots. If you don't understand why this type of a recruiting process, this type of a questionnaire as your only way to weed out candidates is a problem, I leave you with this. You don't have to be evil or ill-willed, okay? Most people who are just around you every day, the people you work with, go to church with, are just lost. I didn't believe it myself. I thought that there was a minimum threshold that most people had for politics, and this opened my eyes. Watch this.
This is a 21-year-old financial analyst in Las Vegas named Clara. She likes Kamala Harris, but does not like Joe Biden, and she might vote for Donald Trump. Now, here's the real confusing part of this. The article says, most of all, she said, she strongly supports abortion rights and did not realize that Mr. Biden does too. She said that because states' abortion bans had gone into effect during his presidency, she assumed it was because of him. Ultimately, despite her misgivings about the economy, support for abortion rights would probably be what decided her vote.
That personal financier or finance specialist or whatever she was is someone who probably graduated college, went all the way through life, intelligent enough to land a job and convince people that she knew what she was talking about, and probably does, and had no idea the party that supports the thing she believes in most was the party she thought was against the thing she believes in the most. It's hard for people like you and I to fathom. How do you not know that? Didn't you believe in it the most? And you didn't know that. That's how easy it is for a questionnaire like this to turn into this. It's not always about who's evil. It's who's uninformed. And by time it's too late, it's who's too scared to fight back. Pillar 3 coming soon. I'll see you on the next one.